So you're interested in Sasquatch. You've read all the books, and now you're ready to get your boots on the ground. You're excited to begin fieldwork, but you have no idea where to start. At least that's how I felt when I first began my fieldwork journey. As you can imagine, quite a lot of preparation goes into studying an elusive, undiscovered ape species in North America. It's not as simple as just going out to your favorite trail and walking around. Although this could be a good starting point, if you really want to get into fieldwork, you need to be able to choose the right spot. For the past year, I have been researching different parts of New York State to identify the best Sasquatch hotspot to conduct my long-term research. This has been no easy task, and I've made many mistakes along the way. So let me show you what I've learned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go to Google My Maps. This is going to be different than Google Maps. It's a separate application. You're going to create a new map. And this is where all the exciting stuff happens. So what I usually do is go to the bfro.net. I also check other credible sources for sightings like podcasts and other websites where people can submit. So let's do a map of Michigan Bigfoot sightings. I'm going to scroll down here, and on the bfro.net you can find your state and make a map from there. So first I'm going to look at only the Class A encounters. This is really important because Class A encounters are easier to vet than Class B or C. Reading through this encounter, I'm seeing a lot of credibility, a lot of detail. Looks pretty good. Although we don't have any way of knowing without speaking to the witness ourselves or seeing it ourselves, this is just the best we can do with the evidence that we do have. I am very skeptical when reading through these or listening to witness accounts on podcasts. You really have to be careful that somebody's not just making up a story, and most of the time when you read through these you can tell whether the person is being truthful or not. So here I'm just referencing the report again to see if there is a crossroad. This one is a little bit hard to find because the person generalizes it by saying that their encounter happened near a cedar swamp. So I do see kind of some swampy, marshy area, and as you notice, you can change the base map to be satellite or terrain. Oftentimes you can find landmarks on the satellite map, so this is a great way of kind of pinpointing where the encounter may have happened. Some people will give an exact location, others will give a more general description. But this is kind of what I'm thinking based on what he put in his report. Here we have a power line cut, which is a great sign. Power line cuts are clearings in the forest that are good for navigation and also attracting prey animals. Deer spend a lot of time in power line cuts, eating the fresh grass that grows. So this is a perfect spot for Sasquatch to hunt and navigate. They can also gain a vantage point when they are at the highest elevation along the power line cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the description here. I'm not going to copy the whole thing, only the most important information. You're going to add a point to your map and paste the information into the description. Then you're going to take a look at the year and the month. And you're going to name the point, okay? Now we're going to choose an icon, which is really exciting. You can color code these by season, and my map used to look like that. But more recently, I have been coding them by the color of the Sasquatch described. I will have these icons available on my website for you to download should you be interested in making your own map. And there he is. Let's move on to our second report. This one looks pretty promising. It has a road, clear directions, and this was a hunter that saw this Sasquatch. Okay, so it looks like we found road number 1, but it did say that it intersected with another road, which I see right here. Okay, so that's where the intersection happened, but this person was hunting. So unless they were hunting in the middle of this intersection, I'm going to have to look nearby. So that's where I'm going to pull up my base map again and go to satellite. I'm going to follow that road down to the intersecting road and look at this right in here. Unless this occurred in their backyard, I think it's safe to assume that this was the patch of woods that they were hunting in. So I'm going to plot another point. I'm going to paste in that information. And then I'm going to reference the month and year again. And that's what I'm going to name the point. It's important that you name the point by the month and year, and I'll show you why a little bit later. And look how interesting. This Sasquatch was a grayish color. Maybe it was older, maybe just a color phase. We're not sure why some of them are gray, but Sasquatch range in color from blonde to red to black to brown to gray to white. And there he is. I always like to change my base layer map to terrain, because that way I can see the Sasquatch plotted on the map a little bit better, and I can also see where the closest mountain ranges are. So look at these two Sasquatch. Because of their coloring, they may not be the same one. Now, for time-sensitive purposes, I'm not going to go through all of Michigan, so let's just pretend that there's another gray Sasquatch sighting not far from the first one. And this does occur. Throughout the several maps that I've made, I have noticed patterns like this. You'll get 2 reports of Sasquatch that are described the same, pretty close to each other. So here we go. We have our 2 gray sightings, right? And as you continue to make this map, you're going to see patterns. This brown Sasquatch may have been seen multiple times in the same area, same with the gray one. Now I'm going to go down to Google Maps. This is what you're probably more familiar with. You probably have the app on your phone. If you don't, I highly suggest downloading it. I'm going to go over here to saved, going over to maps, and there we go. There's my Michigan Bigfoot map. Okay, now this map will be way more robust once I comb through every report on the BFRO. By comparing certain details within sightings, sometimes we can match up 2 sightings and attribute them to the same Sasquatch. What's more likely? 3 gray Sasquatch in the same valley, or 1 gray Sasquatch that was seen 3 times by 3 different witnesses? As soon as I began creating my maps like this, I noticed a huge change in my research. Not only have I created a rough estimation of the New York State Sasquatch population, but I have been able to identify hotspots where different individuals have been seen multiple times, including females with juveniles. This is going to significantly improve my search for Sasquatch this summer, because I can visit valleys where multiple Sasquatch have been seen several times traveling through the area.